Hello, my name is Diane Byram, and I will serve as the moderator for today's press conference. A note as we get started, we're recording this presentation and it will be available later on the ALM website, which is agleadersmi.com. Thank you for being here today to hear from the groups that make up the Agricultural Leaders of Michigan. March is Michigan Food and Agriculture Month in our state, and National Ag Day is March 21st. We appreciate your time and attention to Michigan's agricultural industry, which plays a critical role in the state's economy. The Agricultural Leaders of Michigan represent lenders, agribusiness, as well as milk and pork producers. ALM represents different areas of the agricultural industry, but are together in a commitment to promoting Michigan agriculture. We're joined today by the leadership of the following member groups: Greenstone Farm Credit Services, Michigan Pork Producers Association, Michigan Milk Producers Association, Michigan Agribusiness Association. Each of our members will give a short synopsis of the key issues facing their sector, as well as any legislative or funding priorities. As a reminder, we'll open it up at the end for any questions following the presentations. You're also welcome to use the chat function to send us a question. With that background, our lineup of presenters today will start with Travis Jones, the President and CEO of Greenstone Farm Credit Services. Travis, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Diane, and good morning, everyone. As Diane said, I'm Travis Jones. I'm the President and Chief Executive Officer of Greenstone Farm Credit Services. Greenstone is one of America's largest rural lenders and agricultural lenders. We are a member-owned cooperative. That means our customers are our members, they're our owners. And we serve farmers and rural consumers in all of Michigan and in Northeast Wisconsin. We are part of the National Farm Credit System. The Farm Credit System was established in 1916 to provide a reliable, competitive, and dependable source of credit and financial services to rural communities and to agriculture. Greenstone is the 6th largest farm credit association in the country. We've got over 28,000 members, member customers, member owners, and our combined total assets are over $13 billion. And 12.8 billion of those dollars are in loans to agriculture, agribusiness, and to farmers. Because of the outstanding performance that our customers have had and that Greenstone has had over time, Greenstone has been able to return a significant amount of our profits back to our member owners, back to our customers. And we call that patronage. Other companies would call it dividends, but they're dividends back to our owners. That's our patronage. This year, we had Patronage Day last week on March 16th, and we returned $120 million back to our members. That represented about 40% of our net income in 2022. So basically what Greenstone does is we charge a very competitive rate up front on our lending programs, and then we keep what we need from a capital standpoint to be sustainable and to continue to grow as an organization. And then we return the rest back to our members. And over the last 18 years, we've returned over $840 million back to our members. Certainly challenges in the ag economy today, rising interest rates, rising input costs, rising labor costs, labor availability, and certainly volatility in the commodities markets today. Those aren't new to Greenstone. We've seen that volatility and those pressures over the last 100 years, and we're going to be here for our customers as they fight through those challenges here in 2023. But Greenstone is ready, to stand with our customers, both in the good times and the challenging times. In order to address the future, we also have a program in place for our young beginning and small farmers. We call that our Cultivate Growth Program. And this program and its resources and tools provides help for those that want to get started in agriculture. And we're here for them in the future, and we'll be here to meet their needs. So Greenstone is very excited about ag here in 2023, and excited to hear what the rest of our presenters have this morning. So Diane, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you very much, Travis. Now I'm going to turn it over to Mary Kilpinski, CEO of Michigan Pork Producers Association. Mary, the floor is yours. Mary, you're on mute. Mary, you're on mute.
Leave it to me. Sorry about that. Well, good morning, everybody. I'm sorry about that little technicality. I'm always technologically challenged, it seems. But I am Mary Kilpinski, CEO of Michigan Pork Producers Association, and really excited to talk to you a little bit about the pork industry here in Michigan. With nearly 2.5 million pigs raised annually in the state, the pork industry in Michigan is very healthy. Our 2022 annual cash receipts from the sale of hogs totaled over $500 million. Pork producers in Michigan add value to other sectors of agriculture as well. Our producers use a lot of corn and soybean in the state, and they annually use about 26 million bushels of corn that would be valued at about $122 million. They also use about 170,000 tons of soybeans, and that's valued at about $55 million. Our sector is focused on advocating for measures that keep the pork supply chain safe. Keeping our pigs healthy is one of our most important aspects of our industry and what I spend so much time on. We're continuing to invest in the Beagle Brigade, making sure that those dogs at the airports are specially trained and available to sniff out for illegal products coming into this country, especially pork products. We continue to fund the National Bank of Vaccines. Right now, we have foot and mouth disease that there is a vaccine available for, and we want to make sure that that vaccine is available if we have an outbreak of that disease in this country. As other vaccines become available, we'll want to keep that updated and make sure we have access to those vaccines also. We also want consistent funding for the National Animal Health Laboratory Network, of which Michigan State University Diagnostic Lab is part of. The funding for that would help those labs conduct surveillance and testing to make sure that we don't have a foreign animal disease already in this country. Pork producers are exporting about 25% of the pork that they raise in this country, and that adds over $60 per head value to each hog that's marketed. These exports contribute about 27,000 jobs in the state and $150 million of personal income. To keep exports healthy, it's really important that our elected leaders remove non-tariff and tariff trade barriers so that we can have a level playing field to export our product. We also want to continue to grow the number of countries that we export pork to. We don't want to put all our eggs in one basket. We want to make sure that we spread our pork product out to as many countries as possible. So we look forward to continuing to work with our partners in agriculture and lift up these critically important industries. I thank you for your time today and turn it back to you, Diane.
Thank you, Mary. Now I'm going to turn it over to Joe Diglio, President and CEO of Michigan Milk Producers Association. Joe?
Thanks, Diane. As Diane mentioned, my name is Joe Diglio. I am the President and CEO of Michigan Milk Producers. We are a cooperative that represents roughly 700 dairy farms as part of, and owned by many more farmers within the dairy producer ranks. We own and operate 4 manufacturing facilities, 2 of which are located in the state of Michigan. They produce products such as butter powder, condensed cream, and ultrafiltration milk that goes to other companies for further processing. And we recently acquired a facility down in Canton, Ohio, that was named Superior Dairy. It's a bottling and fluid milk processing plant that has expanded and diversified our product mix to serve now the retail end of the dairy industry. In terms of the dairy market, we were coming off of a very strong year. Farmers had some record high prices that actually were received in the form of a milk payment last year. However, like anything, what comes up does come down, and we did start to see some retraction on the commodity markets. As Travis talked about a little bit before, commodity markets can be volatile and very impactful to the dairy industry as it comes to pricing of the end products to the consumer. Some of the concerns and issues that we've had pertain to the same things that many folks have had, such as labor challenges and supply chain, some of the availability of equipment and manufacturing prowess to fix machines that might have issues. All some of the same things that others, like I said, have gone and had concerns and issues with. Nonetheless, we have been able to produce an awful lot of products from the milk being produced, and with the mild weather that we are seeing here in Michigan, production is up, and we're starting to see some increases on the farm as it's concerning the production that producers have and continue to have. Some of the concerns that we do keep our eyes on is the infrastructure. Knowing that milk is a very perishable product, we need to find a home, and making certain that we get it to the market from the areas that it's being produced at is of the utmost importance. And so we're constantly watching and certainly asking for the commitment on the infrastructure to continue to be strong and solid for us as we move forward. On top of that, we know that the challenges as it relates to households and the spending as it relates to some of the inflation challenges that are out there become a little bit concerning on how the consumer is buying and looking for ways to provide food into their households. We've taken an active approach at making certain that not only are we there to supply our customers, but also there for communities in need. Recently, we donated over 10,000 gallons of milk to a community in need in northern Ohio, based on the aftermath of a toxic railroad derailment, that is. And on top of that, we continue to sequester our donations into the food bank for families in need in areas that consistently look for opportunities to get the nutrition that milk and some of the products that we provide gives them. So we're constantly looking for ways to communicate to our members, to the communities. Broadband infrastructure is of the most importance to us as well, and we hope to continue to see traction in that to find ways to consistently improve communication to not just our member owners, but to those that are in rural areas that can use that means in terms of the communication to outlets as needed. So with that, I appreciate the time and look forward to questions, and I'll turn it back over to you, Diane.
Thank you, Joe. Now I'm going to turn it over to Chuck Lipstrew, President of the Michigan Agribusiness Association. Chuck, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Diane, and thanks everyone for being here. And I'd like to thank our Ag Leaders of Michigan partners. This is a great group and a great cross-section of our Michigan agriculture industry coming together to mark National Ag Day and National Ag Week. I'm Chuck Lipstrew. I am president of the Michigan Agribusiness Association. We represent right around 300 businesses and organizations at every point on the agricultural value chain. And the main way to think about our members, these are businesses of all sizes that work with farmers to help them get their job done throughout the growing season and help them access markets across the nation and around the world. So we get involved in any and every issue that could impact the agricultural and agri-food industries in our state. I want to wrap things up. We heard really important challenges and opportunities from the group today. And from where we sit, the number one thing to know is, this is really important, agriculture remains a bright spot in Michigan's economy and a leading driver of economic growth for our state. By some measures, the second largest economic driver in Michigan. It's a $100 billion plus annual industry in terms of contributions to our economy. And I think it's interesting to note that the industry continued to grow even with the headwinds of the last 2 or 3 years. Agricultural exports in 2021, which I think for state level data is the latest that I've seen, grew year over year, even during the pandemic. And that is a testament to the resiliency of this industry and the willingness of everybody from farmers to every business that works with farmers and everybody on the value chain to figure out a way to get the job done. And again, that's borne itself out in some of the growth numbers that we've seen in the industry, even during the last 2 or 3 extremely volatile years that have had some unique challenges. Today, I'd like to talk first about some challenges we continue to navigate as an industry. I'm going to restate some things that we just heard because what you heard from Mr. Diglio is on workforce and infrastructure is experienced, I think, by everybody in the industry. But I'd also like to talk about opportunities. This is a year of opportunity for agriculture, even during an uncertain time. And I want to then maybe close with a couple of items we're tracking at the federal level as well that I think are really important for folks to know. But first, it's really important to refocus on the 2 core challenges that we continue to face and our member businesses continue to navigate. And that's the dual crisis of supply chain and workforce. And these are things that go hand in glove. Without enough people in the supply chain working on supply chain issues and logistics issues, the success of the industry is disrupted. Certainly farmers have got serious labor challenges. Agribusinesses do too. 2 areas that we're having special challenges. The first is truck drivers. There remains a record truck driver shortage in America, projected to reach 100,000 drivers short versus demand over the coming years. Here in Michigan, that has been our experience. Trained truck drivers are extremely important to the success of the economy, and there are not enough of them. So we continue to encourage any and all efforts at the state and federal levels to encourage truck drivers to get into the industry, to support them, to get trained up and meet requirements to drive, and to keep them in those important jobs. In addition, we have to have rail workers. Rail labor and the lack of workers at the railroads has created substantial disruption, especially in the grain industry. And across both road and rail transportation, we're very focused on infrastructure and the need to upgrade the decrepit infrastructure, especially on the rail front that we continue to see in rural communities. Again, those are things you've heard from our other speakers today, and I can't put a fine enough point on the fact that we have to invest in our workforce in rural communities, and we've got to invest in rural infrastructure. But there's also opportunity out there. And again, if we think of agriculture as a leading bright spot in the economy, there are things happening right now that our industry sees as real opportunities. One good example that we're seeing talked about even as soon as this week in Lansing is the overall topic of climate solutions led by agriculture, delivered by agriculture using modern technology, as well as soil health. These are issues that I think are going to be brought up tomorrow at a House Ag Approps hearing, where we'll also be hearing from experts at Michigan State University. I'm very excited to tune into that hearing and appreciate Chair Brixey for hosting a meeting that's focused on ag technology and innovation. This is something our members are working on every day with the farmers they serve. How do we use modern technology to maximize ROI for the farmer, deliver environmental benefits, but also, really importantly, measure what we're doing and deliver those results to everybody from policymakers to frontline consumers that are shopping at the grocery store. There's so many exciting things happening in the industry, and we're excited to tell that story this year. In addition, we're excited about the opportunity to once again make progress at the federal level, and this is where I want to close. This is a Farm Bill year. We hope to see a federal Farm Bill done in 2023 and not stretch into next year. That's going to take bipartisan leadership in Congress. Thank goodness we've got from Michigan, the chair of the U.S. Senate Agriculture Committee, Senator Debbie Stabenow. We'll be sad to see her go when she steps down from the U.S. Senate. But before that, she's indicated that she's going to be hard at work every day on behalf of the state. And for her, that legacy of helping shepherd bipartisan farm bills across the finish line, we're confident that will continue here with this 2023 Farm Bill. We are cautioning, especially in the House, we've been very clear with members from both parties, it's important to have a unified Farm Bill. one that brings farm programs and risk management and crop insurance, our priorities, together with the nutrition programs that help ensure bipartisan support for the bill. And we'll oppose any effort to split those nutrition programs out of the Farm Bill. And that's been an important message for us to take to Washington. We're also excited to have, for the first time in a long time, Michigan represented not just on the Senate Agriculture Committee, but on the House Agriculture Committee with Congresswoman Alyssa Slotkin joining the House Ag Committee. She is the first member from Michigan on House Agriculture in some time, I think even since potentially Senator Stabenow during her time in the House served on the House Agriculture Committee. We're excited to have Congresswoman Slotkin in that leadership capacity and appreciate all of her work to reach back to the industry to make sure that agriculture's voice is heard on House Ag. With that, again, certainly no shortage of challenges, uncertainty, and volatility. You heard that from the speakers today. You'll hear it from us throughout the year. We need people, we need functioning supply chains, and those remain major challenges. But this is also a time of opportunity, and it's time to make sure we continue to grow Michigan agriculture, which is one of the top drivers of our state's economy. With that, Diane, thanks for leading today's call, and thanks to all of my partners who are on the call with us. And I'll wrap up there and turn it back over to you.
Well, thank you very much. And thank you to all of our ALM presenters today. At this point,